don't know. Maybe. How do you take over the world? Maybe it's in the index. Oh! Good morning. Well, some interesting things are happening right by my doorstep. I live here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's beautiful out here. The best. Anyway, some people have been arrested recently for riding their bicycle on the sidewalk. Well, apparently it is illegal. I've always known it was against the rules, but never heard of anybody getting arrested for it. And I'm going to show you the pictures of who was arrested, and you can tell me if, maybe there's an ulterior motive here. But according to CityofMyrtleBeach.com, bicyclists may not ride on ordinary pedestrian sidewalks, may ride on wide, multi-purpose sidewalks designed for a combination of bicycle and pedestrian traffic, such as those along Grissom Parkway and Faro Parkway. I've seen these giant sidewalks. They're huge, and I assume that's what they mean. Also illegal to ride through a pedestrian crosswalk, which makes sense. I understand why they don't want you to do this. But let's be fair here. If you're driving on the highway and there is a sidewalk, would you rather that person be in front of you on their bicycle or in the sidewalk? Especially if there's no one walking on the sidewalk. Who are they going to hit? But I understand. I can see the point. But most of the time, if you break one of these rules, I've never heard of anybody getting even a ticket. They usually just tell you, get off. Okay. And that's it. That's all I've ever heard. Well, that is not what happened here. There are two people who are, I think he's still in jail. Now these people are innocent until proven guilty. They have not been, went through the court system, so they could have not been riding their bicycle on the sidewalk. That's a pretty hard one to not, be able to prove. But all right, so we have Nefatali VASQUEZ-CASIANO. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name. He was charged with riding bicycles on sidewalks, given $101, I believe that's their fine, and he's been discharged after being in jail for almost 3 days. Okay, so he is listed as a Guatemalan male, as you can tell from his picture. Like I said, innocent until proven guilty. And we have another guy, Hazil Antonio ALEMAN-FERERRA. Like I said, if I'm butchering your name, I'm sorry. A Honduran male, also charged with riding a bike on a sidewalk. For some reason, given a $200 fine. Not sure why. And he is still in jail as of now. And that is, this is the 14th of April. He was arrested yesterday afternoon. Now, is there something similar about these two dudes here? I can't quite put my finger on it. I just don't know. Do they look like they might be Latin American? What? Could the police be profiling people and looking at the color of their skin before they actually make a decision whether to arrest them? Would police ever do that? I've personally never heard of a police officer ever in the history of police work ever looking at a person's skin color and deciding what crime they could have committed. But in all seriousness, yeah, this clearly looks like profiling. And there's two versions of this that I think happened. Now, granted, I'm not saying this did happen. This is my assumption based on only what I see right here. They were either picked because of their skin color and just harassed for no reason, which very possible, or likely they were hoping they were here illegally and wanted to put them in and deport them. They have not been charged with being here illegally, which means they might be citizens. So, yeah. You just arrested 2 American citizens then, and now you just look like a racist. Still kind of a racist because you kind of assume that they weren't here legally because of their skin color. You don't know that. There are plenty of Canadians that come down here, and they probably aren't supposed to be here. Dang Canadians coming down here and taking our jobs. Anyway. So, this does not normally happen. Ever. I've never heard of anyone getting arrested or even really paying a fine for riding their bike on the sidewalk. This is clearly something else going on. I mean, this guy was charged with nothing else. The other guy, they listed driver's license required, surrender and disposition of out-of-state licenses, local license, more than one driver's license. Now, this guy, they were looking. I think this kind of says they were looking because he pulled out his wallet and handed a bunch of licenses. Can you charge for this? This is another question, actually. Lawyers out there, answer this question for me. If he's arrested and he hands you his proper ID, but you also notice when he turns in his wallet, when he goes in through booking, that his wallet has multiple fraudulent driver's licenses, is that an illegal search? Is that technically an illegal search? I want to know. Because that really feels like it is. You have no real right to go through what he has unless it's related to his crime. At least not in my opinion. I mean, hey, I'm not a lawyer. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no idea. But I do know what should happen, at least as far as what should happen in America and what I'd vote for, is this guy shouldn't be, one, in jail for any of this. And they shouldn't have been able to search his wallet for more licenses. Unless he happened to be an idiot and pulled out, hey guys, I got all these fake IDs. What do you want me to do with them? I mean, you do that, I mean, you kind of deserve to go to jail, let's be honest. But I don't know what happened. This is all we have. I could not find any police report on it. I'd like to know more. I'm going to try and do some research. I may give the sheriff's office a call and see if any of these guys have any more information on their police reports. And I'll come back with another episode of this if I can. But I'd like to know, do you guys have anything like this where you're from? Oh, I'm sorry. You guys have been looking at this the whole time, and my face has been in the way of this guy here. So let me go back here. There we go. There we go. So, in case you couldn't see it earlier, for some reason my face was in the way of it. Look at that. Yeah. It's just crazy. This is just wrong. And I know there are people out there going, well, they're here illegally. You don't know that, one. You don't know. They never were charged for that, at least not listed here. So they weren't charged with any crime. Now, whether the sheriff's office can charge for that crime, I don't know. Is that a federal crime that they can't charge for? I don't know. But I think they were looking for it. I think they were looking for it. These poor guys. I mean, in Russia, they do this. It's show me the man and I'll show you the crime. You could really do that in America. Every one of you likely is committing at least one felony every day. There's always something you're doing wrong. You sing your favorite song in the car to yourself, you might have broken copyright law. Who knows? Depending on what lawyer you ask, you might have. Some lawyers disagree with that, but that is a thing. Have you ever get charged for it? Probably not. But you could. Failure to signal. Riding your bike without using your appropriate hand signals. Most people don't always do that. I've never heard of anyone getting arrested for it. But is it against the rules? Might be. You know, I just don't think that America has done a good job with all these rules and regulations that we have. I mean, we have so many out there. I've heard of one where I think, and it might be a federal crime, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just remembering this from like 15 years ago. But one of my professors said it, and I think it was, you can be arrested for transporting a rake across state lines. And I believe that was here between North and South Carolina. I could be wrong on that. But there was some weird rule that you could technically be arrested for it. And there's the old wives' tale that you can, take people to the courthouse and beat them. But that's probably not true. But we have some weird laws and regulations on the books. There's a lot of weird stuff. And these are all rules that people break all the time. People always are breaking every little thing out there. And if we were to be charged for everything, we'd all go to jail for the rest of our lives. You know, since it is Easter week, it does remind me of that. That if you really think about it, that's kind of what Jesus' point is. I think when he came down and I think the Sermon on the Mount, I'm not a theologian at all, so I could be totally wrong, but one of my things is when he gave his sermons, sometimes he'd point out everything and how hard it all really is. And I think that was the point. He was pointing at it going, look, you can't actually do any of this without me. And I think that's the point. No one can ever be perfect. No one can ever follow the law exactly. Only Jesus did that. And that's why we need him. We can't do it. We can't get to heaven on our own good morals and, oh, well, I listened to every law that was out there. I was perfect. No one can do that. Only God's ever done that. And that's why we need him. Anyway, if I don't upload another video this week, have a happy Easter and have a blessed day.